For centuries, millions of people have dreamed of Paris. From India to Japan, from America to Europe, people have crossed oceans to walk its streets, to sit in its cafes, to discover the city they imagined in their minds. But here is the mystery. Paris is not famous only because of its monuments. The Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, the grand avenues. The true magic of Paris is invisible. It lives in the paintings, the music, the stories, and in the dreams of the artists who transformed a city into a masterpiece. Because Paris was never just built, Paris was imagined. At the beginning of the 20th century, Paris became the cultural capital of the world, a city where ideas moved faster than ever. Its streets were changing. Under the transformation of Baron Haussmann, old medieval neighborhoods gave way to grand boulevards, elegant buildings, cafes, and public spaces. But the real transformation was not only architectural, it was artistic. Paris became a place where writers, painters, musicians, and thinkers could meet. In the cafes of the city, conversations became revolutions. Writers like Victor Hugo and Charles Baudelaire captured the beauty and contradictions of Paris. They discovered something important. A city is not only made of stone, a city is made of stories. And Paris was becoming the greatest story of them all. On the northern hill of Paris, there was a different world, Montmartre. At first, it was only a small village outside the city, poor, wild, ignored. But something extraordinary happened. Artists arrived. They found cheap studios, freedom, and a place where they could create without following the rules. Painters, poets, musicians, and outsiders gathered in its narrow streets. Here, a person could become someone new. This was the world of Picasso, Modigliani, Van Gogh, and Toulouse-Lautrec. In Montmartre, beauty was not created by wealth. It was created by imagination. The small cafes became laboratories of creativity. The cabarets became stages for new forms of expression. And the streets themselves became works of art. Montmartre was not famous because it was beautiful. It became beautiful because artists believed in it. Paris did not only inspire painters, it changed the way the world looked. The invention of photography transformed everyday life into art. Photographers captured forgotten corners, empty streets, and ordinary moments. Artists like Eugène Atget revealed a different Paris, a quiet Paris, a mysterious Paris, a Paris that existed between reality and memory. Then came cinema. The city became a moving painting. Directors used its streets as a stage for human emotions. Paris was no longer only a place to visit. It became a place to dream. But Paris was not only seen, it was heard. The sound of the city echoed through cafes, theaters, and cabarets. The accordion in the streets, the voices of singers, the rhythm of jazz arriving from across the Atlantic. Artists from different cultures came to Paris and added their own colors to the city's melody. People like Édith Piaf transformed simple emotions into universal songs. Because great cities do not have only a face, they have a voice. And Paris learned how to sing. Perhaps nowhere is the connection between Paris and art stronger than in fashion. For generations, Paris has been the place where people reinvent themselves. Here, clothing became more than fabric. It became identity. Coco Chanel changed the way women dressed. Christian Dior created a new vision of elegance. Yves Saint Laurent transformed fashion into a form of artistic expression. In Paris, fashion became a language, a way of saying, "This is who I am." Today, millions of people still dream of Paris. The city appears in films, paintings, photographs, and stories around the world. Even modern stories like Emily in Paris continue a dream that began more than a century ago. A Paris of romance, a Paris of artists, a Paris where every street seems to hide a story. Of course, this Paris is not completely real. It is an imagination. But perhaps that is exactly why it is so powerful. Because every generation creates its own Paris. Every visitor brings their own dream. And maybe the greatest masterpiece of Paris is not the city itself. It is the idea of Paris that lives inside the imagination of millions of people around the world. Paris is not only a place, it is a dream still being created.